Thank you so much for joining us here on KEXP. We are listener-powered radio at 90.3 FM in Seattle and also at 92.7 FM in the Bay Area, San Francisco, Oakland, Alameda, and streaming worldwide at KEXP.org and also on the KEXP mobile apps. I'm Cheryl Waters, and I am beside myself with excitement to have one of my favorite bands live here in the KEXP studios here in Seattle. Last time we had them live on the air was back in 2012 when their album Ocean came out, my favorite record that year, and it's really just an understatement to say how happy I am to have you here today. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, thank you for having us.
I think I haven't said the name of the band yet.
That's okay, you don't have to do that.
It's DIIV, live on KEXP. Frog in Boiling Water is their newest album, and I am so excited to hear you perform live. I definitely want to chat with you, but why don't you start us off with some live music?
This
You're listening to DIIV live on KEXP. That was the opening track from the new album, Frog in Boiling Water. It's called In Amber. Sounding so good. We're live in the KEXP studios with DIIV.
There's a river out there somewhere on the
That is DIIV live on KEXP. I am so in my happy place right now. Thank you for playing Blankenship. That's from the 2019 album Deceiver, which I love, love, love. And that was fantastic. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I'm still nervous, even though we already played.
That's why we moved the interviews to the end, though, I will admit. For a couple of decades, we had the 2 songs, the band would talk, and then 2 more songs. I don't think we've ever told the listeners why we moved them to the end, but it's because you play 2 songs, and then we're trying to have like a meaningful conversation, and all the band can think about is we have 2 more songs to play. We're so nervous. We're like, let's get that out of the way, and then we can talk. So
I kind of liked it, like catches you off guard a little bit, you know?
yeah, well, you said you're still nervous, so we're still catching you off guard. Well, it's so great to have you here. And you mentioned that last night's show in Seattle was epic. Our girl Sasami opened, so I just can't think of a better Monday night. I'm still pinching myself or punching myself that I thought it was tonight and missed it. But what made it the best show in the world that I missed? What was so fun last night?
I don't know. I think it was the first show of the tour that like really clicked. Everything was clicking and the audience was like right there with us and it just sounded like so loud and crazy. Just felt like everything was working.
I mean, we've been a band for over a decade now. Are you seeing a surge of new fans coming out? Because I know the old fans are all showing
definitely.
up. Yeah?
Yeah, it's crazy. There's like younger
I definitely
people.
wasn't expecting it, but yeah, there's like teenagers coming to the shows and stuff. What's funny is there's even like mother-child or like father-child, you know, like they both are fans. And the kid just became a fan now from this record or the one before, and the dad's been since he was in college or whatever.
That's what happens when you make great music.
Or when you get
when
old.
we made Deceiver, since it was like a heavy record, we expected like an older crowd to be into it. But it feels like even more young people started showing up because of that album. So what do we know?
I'm a big fan of Deceiver. I liked that heavy, darker sound. It reminds me of bands I love, like Unwound. But I've been a fan of every record that you've put out, going back to Ocean and Is the Is Are. And I feel like this record, Frog in Boiling Water, takes us back to those first 2 records. It's just kind of this dreamy, atmospheric sound where I can just lose myself in a happy place. I just feel all the feels. Was that something that you were aware of? Were you doing that intentionally, or is that just how it turned out?
We definitely like tried to figure out what those records made people feel and try to like capture that rather than like do the same thing or something. Somebody outside the show last night was like, when are you going to make one that sounds like those? And I was like,
We did.
those still exist. Yeah, we literally did do that.
And I listen to them all the time when I want to hear that.
Yeah, whenever you want.
That's the beautiful thing about the record format.
It's funny you mentioned Unwound too, because we went to the Unwound show, and I remember the singer on stage was like, it's crazy. Last time we played in LA was to like a quarter this many people, and there's so many young kids who weren't even born yet when that show happened. And so maybe there's something, maybe it's not just us, you know. I think there's something happening with the kids.
Well, that's the great thing about musical discovery is that it is always there to be discovered. And if you have good people in your life that are turning you on to good music, well, props to KEXP here. You know, you can find that music at any time in your life. And you can be an old person and find, you know, something that you missed, and a young person something that's new to you that was made before you were even born. Mm-hmm. That's the fun thing. Well, I know your new record, Frog in Boiling Water, came out during a little bit of an intense time, maybe a big bit of an intense time for DIIV. It took 4 years for the whole record to come together, and that's not so unusual that it was 4 years since your last album, but it sounds like you were working on the record almost all of that 4 years, and I know the pandemic is partially to blame for that, but not the only reason. Can you talk a little bit about your relationship as a band and what it looked like getting the new album across the finish line?
It was fun.
Yeah?
Just kidding. No, it was, I mean, at times it was fun. For the most part, it was really stressful because we're, you know, for the last couple albums, we've been gradually heading towards a more, like, even democratic situation. And that can be difficult. And, but, you know, we're big boys. We talked it through and we figured it out.
Consensus is hard.
Yeah, for real. Especially when there's 4 of us.
That's the thing, you know, like decision making in a Yes, sorry.
I think too we really like the first like 2.5 years of that process was really fun, I would say. And then the last year and a half, when it started to get closer to like actually finishing and being final, that's when it started to get really stressful. And I think partially because we just got like so committed to doing the work. And after a while, it's like, no, you have to actually like talk to each other. You can't just like work hard and like push through, you know?
Well,
We were definitely trying to just like get it done and be professional, but then, you know.
Well, you were working hard, but it sounds like to some extent you were working in isolation, all doing your own thing and on computers mostly, which I had read at some point, maybe this was going to be an electronic record, but then it went in a different direction. But I know that you worked with Chris Cody on this record to produce it, who's worked with some of our favorite bands like Beach House and Blonde Redhead. And I heard that when you started working with him, you thought you were bringing him in towards the end of the record, but really you brought him in, it was the beginning of the record. How so? What did he do? Where did he push you?
I mean, the writing process was in like so many different phases, you know, and yeah, we thought, we were like, okay, we got it. We're right at the end. We had made this like very like in the computer album, which makes sense because we were writing it during like isolation. And we brought in Chris and he was like, yeah, I got this drum machine. And we had this plan and we're like, okay, cool. We just have to track it. And then once we started, we realized we were like, yeah, not even close to the finish line. We were at the beginning. But his role was like, you know, he reinvented the record for us. He was like, you guys are a live rock band. Like, that's what you should do. And so it completely shifted our direction, I think, for the better.
Yeah, I'm glad because I think Deceiver was like a band in a room type record. And I feel like for us, for whatever reason, it makes sense to like kind of hone in on a vibe or an approach over 2 albums rather than just like completely abandoning and doing something radically different. So it felt like this is like a step brother to Deceiver or something, you know? I don't know why it's a step brother. There's a long, tragic family history.
Well, you said that that the band has gone through like different chapters of their life through your records. And what is this chapter?
Wow, I mean,
do we have enough time for that?
yeah. I don't know. It's interesting being in a band where your life is like divided into chapters like that. You know, I think most people don't necessarily have these like markers, and for us, it's like you remember this album and then this album, and it does represent a change. But I mean, I don't know. Speaking personally, I feel like it's a period of like maturity. You know, I'm a dad. It's a different mindset. I don't know. I think for all of us it's different, but it is interesting to have these like chapter markers. But I don't know in terms of the identity of the band. What do y'all think?
I think generally speaking, like once you hit a decade, something changes. When you get to 10 years as a band, and then we all 4 of us started thinking about like what the next 10 years would look like. That's like a very like adult process. You don't feel like a young band anymore, you know? The band itself and along with us is like aging, you know, in a cool way. And so it allows us to like approach
in a cool way.
In a cool way, yeah. It is. I mean, I think getting older is cool.
I think it's cool too.
It's like,
Well, you invested a lot in this record. You were between labels, so you were really putting everything you had out there on the line. I mean, it must have been a scary process as 4 years rolled by, and this is what you do as a band. Ultimately, you have to be really happy with the way this turned out.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing. You know, we're like, okay with investing. So, you know, we really put all our eggs in the DIIV basket. You know, we don't have like education or training or anything. You know, it's like DIIV is like it, you know. And so when we were making the record, it just it felt like the stakes were really high. It had to be, you know, perfect in our minds because, we were, you know, not touring, not working, and spending our money on it. And it's really terrifying, especially as like the institutions that support musicians erode.
Well, I'm glad you stuck with it. It is perfect. And I'm so glad you brought it to us here today in KEXP. Again, the album Frog in Boiling Water, the latest release from DIIV. It's so great to have you. Please come back.
Thank you so much for the
Will do.
thoughtful questions and the
and the good vibes.
The research, good vibe. Thank you.
We appreciate having you here today, and we appreciate our listeners and viewers as well. Thank you so much for supporting great music like this. You can learn more about us at KEXP. We are listener-powered. Make a gift anytime in support of great music discovery at KEXP.org. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. You get notification every time we launch a great new video like this one. Thanks once again. It's DIIV live on KEXP, where the music matters. Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.